A credit card can either help you build wealth or completely ruin your finances. Welcome back to CWM University, where we learn together. And today we're going to learn how to pick credit cards that will help us and not harm us. Before we can even get into credit cards, there's some things that you need to understand and make sure that you know how these things work before you decide that you want to get a credit card. I am not a financial advisor, and this is just practical guidance. Viewer discretion is advised. First thing is interest. There's good interest and there's bad interest. You need to know the difference. So let's take the good interest first. Good interest are things that give you an opportunity to grow your money, like a high yield savings account, a CD, investments. These are things that keep your money growing. Bad interest are interest that work against you. So if you have a high interest rate on your credit card, bad interest. The interest on your car loans, not good interest, because the car company is making money off of you when you have a car payment. Those predatory payday loans, bad interest. Any type of interest that works against you, it has you paying money to somebody else, you're going to categorize that as bad interest. So to sum that all up, interest is either money working for you or against you. And once we understand that, we can know how to approach interest and know if we need to have a high interest or lower interest. On things that are good interest, like high yield savings account, CDs, your investments, you want to have a high interest because the higher the interest, the more money you make. On things like credit cards, your car loans, your house payment, you want those interest rates to be as low as possible, so you owe less money. Now, first I'm going to talk to the people who may be getting their first credit card ever, and they're trying to pick out which credit card may work best for them. Maybe they heard it on social media that credit cards can be helpful, but they really don't know how they work. The first thing I want you to ask yourself is, do I know how money works? Meaning, do you have a bank account? Do you know what a deposit is? Do you know what a withdrawal is? Because if you don't understand those simple terms, a credit card is not where you need to go first. So before you get a credit card, the first thing you need to have is a bank account. Now, when I was still in elementary school, my father thought it would be a great idea to get me a bank account. Me, as a child, I wanted to know how things that adults did work. So I'm like, a bank account, I get a bank card, I get a checkbook. That's when they still had checkbooks. Okay. And I was just excited about it because I always watched my mom balance her checkbook, and I wanted to do that because I just thought it was a cool thing to do. I don't know why, I just did. So anyway, my father got me and my sibling a bank account when we were really young. I was still in elementary when I got this bank account. And I didn't realize what he was setting us up for. He was setting us up to understand money, how money works, how withdrawals work, how deposits work, how to balance your checkbook, and to know, do I have more money going in than money going out? Hindsight, that was very vital to the start of my interest in finances and saving money and trying to see how I can make my money grow or saving up for something, knowing how a bank account works. So if you have young children, getting them a bank account may not be the worst thing, especially nowadays. Everything is either tap pay or you swiping a card, and it's not really that much cash moving around for most people. Letting them know how a bank account works. And now it's even easier. They don't have to track it on a checkbook. They can look at the app, see how much money's in there, how much money's coming out. And it just starts them with the basics of budgeting. Also, having that bank account young, I was able to know the importance of a deposit and withdrawal. If I was balancing that checkbook and my account was getting low, hey, mom and daddy, what can I do to get some more money? How much I'm getting this week for allowance? Because I need some more allowance to make sure my account doesn't overdraft. So just understanding the basics and the ebbs and flows of money before I get somewhere where I want to get a credit card. And when you have this bank account, you need to make sure that you are responsible with the bank account. So if I have $500 in there, am I spending $599? Do I know how to stay under the money that I have in that account so I won't have an overdraft? If you are constantly overdrafting your bank account, please stay away from credit cards. Please, you're not ready yet. Maybe you need to look into budgeting, how to budget your money to make sure that the money that goes in is more than the money that comes out. And if you need a suggestion on how to budget, you can check out this video right here, or you can get my free budget template just to get you started. Now, let's just say that you do have a bank account and you know about withdrawals, you know about deposits, you are good with making sure that the money that goes in your account is more than the money that comes out your account. Say that you've already conquered that. Next, we need to understand what a credit card is. A credit card is borrowed money. This money does not belong to you. When you get a credit card and they say that your limit is $3,000, they're not saying, hey, here's $3,000, go play. We don't care about that money. No, they're letting you rent that money temporarily. It does not belong to you. So we know that the money that the credit card company is giving us, I say our limit is $3,000. We know that it's rented money. And when I get ready to start paying back on this rented money, because you got to get that money back, understand that the minimum payment is not going to help you pay that debt down. So say I spent $3,000 on this credit card, and I'm like, oh, I done maxed this thing out. Now I need to start paying this money back so I won't get into debt. Let's say they say your minimum payment is going to be $50 a month. In order to pay this credit card off, you're going to have to pay more than the minimum. A minimum is just like treading water, staying in the same spot. You're really not making progress. You want to pay these people their money back so you won't get into heavy debt. Because credit cards is a good way to get in debt. I've been there, done that. Don't be me. Or don't be a lot of us that's out here with these credit cards. Use them responsibly. The longer you carry that credit card balance, the more expensive it is if you have a credit card that has an interest rate. Sometimes they'll give you a credit card and they'll say, we're offering 0% APR for the next 15 months. What that means is, for the next 15 months, I can charge anything on this credit card and they won't penalize me for charging this money. Now, as soon as that 16th month hits, they're going to start charging you interest. So that means they're going to charge you money on top of money, and you're going to pay back more than you spent. Let's go back to that $3,000 card limit. I got approved for a credit card that has a limit of $3,000. Just because they give you $3,000 doesn't mean you need to go spend the whole $3,000. If this is your first credit card, you're trying to use this credit card to build your credit. Because maybe you want to get a car, so you want to have good credit. Maybe you're focused on getting a house. You want to have good credit to get those good interest rates on cars or houses or things like that. So if they gave me a credit card and my limit is $3,000, we're not going to spend the limit. It's recommended to try to keep it at the 30% of the car or less. 30% or less. So what is 30% of 3,000? Well, I know that 10% of 3,000 is 300. If I do 300 times 3, that would give me 30%, which is $900. So I want to keep this credit card spending to $900 and less in order to help my credit score go up. Now, if you could spend less than 30% of 3,000, even better. So say, for example, I wanted to go get groceries and gas. That's something I know I always get, okay? I'm not going to use this credit card to go shopping on Amazon. I'm going to only spend it on things that I normally spend my money. Gas, groceries, anything that you normally do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep that under either $900 or less. And at the end of the month, I'm going to always pay it off. That's how you get that credit score to keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. Pay your balances off at the end of each month. And that way, you don't have to worry about them charging you interest. And you only have to pay back the money you borrow because it's rented money. It don't belong to you. Let's go to Google, because what? Google is free. And we're going to look up best beginner-friendly credit cards. And we're just going to take a look at the list and give you some options or some things that you can look at when looking at a credit card. All right, so we're going to go to Google and we're going to type in best beginner-friendly credit cards and go. And of course, you always have your options to look through. I'm going to click the first one that comes up, which is NerdWallet. And this one says the 12 best rewards credit cards. So you can look through these and see what they have to offer. So you have, well, they have an American Express card. It says 0 annual fee for the first year. So annual fees for credit cards is something else that you want to pay attention to. They may charge you a fee for having that credit card. Why they do that? I don't know. Just so they can make some more money. You want to try to find cards that don't have an annual fee. You don't want to get charged for having this credit card because you're still paying on money that you didn't borrow. Then you can see what type of cash back. I would suggest if you're going to use this credit card right now, just for like groceries and gas, try to find credit cards that give you cash back for spending it on groceries and gas. These are some things you want to look at. And then also, some of them may offer, it may be an intro offer. Like if you spend so much money, they'll give you $200. So you see these intro offers. You have to go look at what the credit card is offering you, okay? So there's different options you can go through and just decide what's gonna be best for what you're trying to do. And if this is your first credit card, you have to apply for it. You're either gonna get approved or denied, one of the two. If you get approved and they say that you're approved for like $500, that's your limit, that's normal. It is normal to be approved for a lower limit when this is your first credit card. So that's okay. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna charge the credit card, keep it 30% or lower, pay it off, and then eventually you'll get something in your email or your mail and says, we're going to raise your limit. They'll do that a lot. They'll raise your limit on the card, so it might go from $500 to $1,500. And that means you're doing what you need to do, and they want you to keep using this credit card. Keep in mind that when you charge this credit card, make sure whatever you charge on this credit card, you have it in your bank account. So say if I wanted to charge $500 worth of groceries, gas, and I don't know, occasionally going out to eat, I need to make sure that $500 is sitting in my bank account. Do not charge more on your credit card than you have in your bank account. That's how you get in debt. And we're not trying to get in debt. Our goal for this credit card is to build our credit. So let me know in the comment, is this your first credit card that you ever had? Are you looking to build your credit? And if you are, please, 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 I beg you, whatever you charge that month, pay it off that month. This is a good way to stay out of debt. Now, let's move on to the next type of credit cards that we could be looking for. Say I know how a bank account works. Say I already have credit cards. Now I'm trying to find the best credit card to help me pay off debt. I got myself in a little situation. I'm trying to get out of it. I have a credit card over here. I have $3,000 on credit card, but it's a 15% interest rate on it. And that interest rate is killing me, okay? And I want to find a way I could pay it off without the interest. Now, they do make credit cards that have a 0% balance transfer. Granted, you have to read the terms and the conditions yourself to make sure they're not trying to trick you. But say I took this $3,000 that had this 15% interest rate. I have a plan because we don't want to move debt without having a plan. Because if we are, we're just relocating the problem. We're not solving it. So say I said that I want to try to get a credit card that has 0% interest rate, put it over there, and I'm going to pay this credit card off in 5 months. Because I know that I can pay $3,000 off in 5 months. I've already looked at my budget. I have the extra money. But that 15% on top of that $3,000 is what's killing me. You can look up credit cards with a 0% balance transfer. You can take this $3,000, get approved for a credit card with 0% balance transfer, and transfer that money over there. And then I can quickly pay that off where I don't have to pay the interest on that credit card. Now, that credit card that you took that $3,000 off and put it into the new one, that credit card over there, you're going to stop using it. That's the way we're going to stay out of debt. We're going to stop putting more debt on that credit card. We're going to go back to Google and we're going to type in 0% balance transfer credit cards. I'm going to go to Nerd Wallet. And here we go. This one says 0% APR balance transfer for 21 months. That's a good amount of months to have a 0% interest rate. But that's 0% for 21 months. After that 21 months, they could charge you between 16% and 27% interest rate. That means I have a plan that I'm going to get this balance that I transferred over there, that $3,000 that I transferred over there, I'm going to get that paid off before 21 months. So then I won't get extra interest on there. So you can just scroll through here and look for what they have to offer, what makes more sense for you, and apply. Because you have to get approved before you can get one of these 0% balance transfer credit cards. So Google it. Find something that you think that will work for you, give you the options that you need, apply, because you already have a plan of what you're going to do once you get that $3,000 over there on that 0% interest card. I also want to include right here that we're having to take a credit card amount and transfer it to a different credit card with the lowest interest rate. That means we probably don't have a savings. Because if we had money saved up, we probably could go ahead and pay that off and move on about our way. Or we probably wouldn't have had the debt in the first place. So if you do not have a high yield savings account for an emergency fund, I suggest that you look into getting one. I have plenty of videos on my channel that talks about different accounts that you can save your money. You can look at this one. It's about high yield savings account. And then I also have this video where I can compare the 3 places people like to put their cash and save their money that you could do as well. Once we get this credit card paid off, then we need to look into building an emergency fund. Your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And the only way you know what 3 to 6 months of your expenses is if you have a budget or if you go through there and calculate it. And I know that per month I spend $1,500 on just stuff that I need. Then I can take that $1,500 times it by 3, and that will be my next goal, to start saving up for an emergency fund. So when I have things that come up, like a flat tire or something done with my car or any other thing, I have money I can pull from and I won't put it on a credit card. An emergency fund will be your next step after you pay that credit card off, so we won't have to keep charging credit cards. Now, I've been to the point where I got credit cards, I started getting higher limits on my credit cards, and then for some reason I decided to go a little crazy. And I got into credit card debt. I just kept charging stuff, and not paying it off because I either had a low interest rate, and I was like, I could just let it sit there. But then what happens when you let it sit there? Eventually, they're going to start charging you interest, and now you got to pay it off. So I went from having a lot of credit card debt to doing balance transfers. I've been there with the balance transfer when I started getting really interested into paying off my debt and not being in debt anymore. And then I started paying down that credit card, and I started realizing, hey, if I charge it that month, pay it off that month. I knew how credit cards work, but I didn't think about how it was going to start building up on me when I wasn't paying it off month to month. Things I'm telling you are just lessons I've learned over time. I've also learned that these people will email you, send you mail, talking about you've been approved for this credit card. You will go apply to that credit card, and then they'll say denied. And I'm like, why did you even email me about a credit card that I've been approved for? Now all of a sudden I'm denied. Don't do that. Don't play with my feelings. But it does happen. So that's why I'm trying to give you different options about different credit cards that you can apply to. Because one credit card company may deny you, but then you can get with another credit card company and they may approve you. So you do have options. Just because one person says no doesn't mean everybody else is going to say no. By the time that I got out of credit card debt, I was just talking to some people I was working with at the time, and this one lady mentioned that she had a Southwest card, and she was explaining to me how she used it for her and her family. She said that the Southwest card, at that time, that's when Southwest was banging. Everybody was flying Southwest. Now, Southwest is tripping, but that's another topic. Anyway, she was talking about how she would charge things on her credit card for that month, and at the end of the month, she'll pay it off. I just asked her, I was very curious, why do you pay it off every month? And she says, well, I paid off every month so we can stay out of debt. But I use that Southwest credit card so I can build up points. So when my family and I want to travel somewhere, we can use the points to get the flights. And I was like, say what now? I didn't know that was a thing. And you don't know what you don't know. But when I found out and I was educated about it, I opened up a Southwest card. And what did I start doing? I started taking my expenses, putting it all on that card, and every month I'll pay it off so I can get those points. Because at that time, I was flying a lot with Southwest. We know we need a bank account. We need to know how money works. This is not our first credit card. Maybe we're not in debt. Now we want to use our credit card for fun. So how can we pick what type of credit card we can use to work in our advantage? Because credit cards can be good if used correctly. They could work in your advantage. So there's different things that you can get for a credit card. They'll give you points on travel. They'll give you cash back. And you have to read the terms of the credit card, because some of them give you cash back like 3 times the points on gas and groceries. Some of them only give you 1 time the point. It just depends on what the credit card is offering. So know what your goals are. What am I trying to get to work for me? And then pick a credit card accordingly. Like one credit card that I have now, when I was traveling a lot for my job, it was giving me 3 times the points on gas, groceries, and hotels. And what I was doing, racking up those points. I knew that that was going to fit for my lifestyle, so that's the type of credit card I chose. If you're in a point where you're just trying to use credit cards for fun, a couple things that you should keep in mind. Credit cards have annual fees, which I've mentioned a little earlier in this video. You need to ask yourself, is this annual fee worth it? Say the annual fee is $95. Am I going to get enough rewards back to me, enough cash back to me, that's going to be more than that $95? Because if the answer is no, you don't need that credit card. Is that annual fee worth it? Second thing, credit cards change their perks over time. At one point, you got this 3 times the points on groceries. Now they dropped it down to 1 times the points. Make sure that you're reading those conditions, because they'll tell you for the next 15 months, you get 3 times the points on groceries. And then after that 15 months, it drops down to one times the point. Make sure that you know when that happens. And maybe once that happens, you want to stop using that credit card. You can, but make sure you keep in mind that if it has an annual fee, you want to be aware of that. Just in case you start using it, and you're like, where does $95 charge come from? That $95 was that annual fee. Also, like I mentioned, I got a certain credit card because right then at that time, I was traveling with my job. If I stop traveling with my job, maybe this is not the best credit card for me, and I need to use a different credit card that I have or pick a different one that fits my lifestyle. So if your lifestyle changes, you may want to change the type of credit card you're using. You want to get the best bang for your buck. They want to make money, and so do I. They want to make money off of me, and I want to get the advantages of having a credit card. So pick the one that's best for you. You don't have to stay loyal to a credit card. Don't have to. So think about your goals, think about your lifestyle, and when you want to get a credit card that works for you, search up that type of credit card. Maybe you want a credit card that's going to give you points to go towards flights. Maybe you fly a lot. So then I'm going to search up credit cards that are good for traveling. Or maybe I want to put my groceries, gas, and my hotels on there. Search up credit cards that give you extra points for those 3 things. Have your goal in mind and pick that credit card based on that goal. But always try to pay that credit card off at the end of the month. Especially if you have an interest rate on there. Because you pay it off at the end of the month, they can't charge you interest. Because you gave them post their money back. I just borrowed it for temporarily and I'm giving it back to you. Because I don't want you making money off of me. The goal is for me to get all the enjoyment off this credit card, not the credit card company. Okay, these things I've mentioned, but I want to mention them again, just so we know in general about credit cards. 1, pre-approval doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't guarantee that they're going to actually approve you for the credit card. Then you apply and get denied. It doesn't mean anything. You still have to apply and you still have to get approved. Second thing, be aware of those store credit cards. Say they get your credit card at JCPenney's. They're like, we'll give you 15% off your purchase if you apply for this credit card. And then next thing you know, you're going to spend $500 at JCPenney's. And did you mean to spend $500? No. But you like 15% off my purchase. Let me go ahead and run it up. Be aware of those credit cards at the store. Yes, they can. Those store credit cards can help you build your credit, but I don't suggest getting them because it encourages you to spend more money than you would have when you first went in there. But hey, it's your money. Do your thing. Late payments on your credit cards will hurt you. If I'm supposed to be paying the minimum and I don't pay the minimum, that's going to hurt me. If I was supposed to be paying out the whole balance and I know I have a 16% interest rate on this credit card and I didn't pay off that whole balance, guess what? They're going to charge me 16% on whatever that balance is. So make sure you having these credit cards work for you and not against you. We're not trying to get into that. And just want you to be aware of this. Say I had 3 credit cards and I done paid off credit card A and B and I'm only using C. If I close A and B, closing credit cards can hurt your credit score. It's messed up because I don't want to use them anymore, but they can hurt your credit score. So if you have credit cards A and B and they don't have an annual fee on them, you could just stop using them. If you want to, you can cut them up, hide them for yourself so you won't use them, and they will eventually close after not using them after a certain amount of time. But if you decide that you want to go close those 2 credit cards, it can put a ding in your credit score. So just keep that in mind when closing credit cards. Because you don't have to close it just not to use it. You can cut it up. You can delete off all those Amazon accounts and wherever else you be spending your money, just delete them and just not use the credit card. And then that credit card will eventually close on its own. But just keep in mind, if you have an annual fee, whether you use it or not, they're going to charge you anyway. So do with that information what you will. If you clicked on this video, either you wanted to see my face or you're actually interested with looking into what type of credit card you should get. Ask yourself these questions. First thing, am I disciplined with money? Second thing, am I carrying debt? Third thing, do I want just rewards for a credit card or am I trying to build my credit? Fourth thing, can I pay this balance off every month? So when you're choosing credit cards, those are the 4 things you need to ask yourself. And the answer to those questions will take you down the path that you need to go. Do I need to just go start figuring out how money works? Am I carrying a debt and I need to transfer this debt? Do I want just a credit card for rewards, or am I trying to build my credit? That tells me what type of credit card I should choose. And then, can I pay this balance off every month? If I can't pay my phone bill on time, baby, you don't need a credit card. You're not responsible yet. You haven't got there yet. You can get there, but if you're not paying your regular bills on time, you do not need a credit card. Do not get the credit card. At the end of the day, credit cards are tools. If they're used correctly, they can help you build credit and save money. Used incorrectly, they can keep you broke for years. And this is something I'm telling you from personal experience. So choose wisely. And don't forget, the more money you have, the more options you have. Share this video with somebody that you know that it can help. If you're not subscribed, come join the university. And hello to all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining the university. Leave me a comment below so I know that you're here, that you're new. And remember, we don't charge tuition. It's free. So just click subscribe. And thank you for taking your time out watching this video. And you already know. Until next time.